How
Okay.
about y'all, brothers?
Man, I'm good, man.
Well,
My good noble,
great.
my good noble.
Yeah.
I give everybody a chance. How's everybody health? Everybody
Doing
feeling?
good. Doing good.
All right. Islam. That's good to hear. We're gonna have a good teaching today, man. A good repetition teaching to some of us be able to follow.
Islam.
That's why we always talk about the divine come first, man. And it protects us. You know,
No, sir.
the divine come first, and it protects us from harm's way. Islam Empress.
Islam.
Islam. Islam. Islam. Islam.
We'll give it a couple minutes. I know some of us need to log in.
Well, gratitude more. I got my feds in
Did it
the
fit?
got two of them. Yeah.
Islam. I'm glad it fit.
Or still.
Ooh, let me put some water in it. All right, all right, all right. Let me get everything set up. It's gonna be a good day. I say, well, we got a couple more minutes, man. I'd like to be on time, but I also like to wait for my brothers, at least give brothers a grace period. I know Barclay is traveling. He should make it. He should make it in soon. But with that being said, nobles, let's get everything set up, and then we're gonna jump right into it. Islam family.
Islam. Islam.
Islam.
Yeah. In 1 second. There we go. There we go, family. Oh, there go Noble right there. Noble, I kind of beat you to it. I jumped on the page before you.
Okay, yeah, my bad. It's not fair. Sorry for my tardiness, man.
Man, you know it's all good, Noble. You here? Gratitude to you. As always, gratitude to everyone that's here. But isn't it good? Isn't it good to be right though, y'all? Sometimes like to be not not when I say right, but I mean to be righteous. You know?
Yes, sir.
Islam.
I mean, it's always beautiful to be righteous. So with that being said, man, we're gonna get started. Oh, give me 1 second, nobles. Give me 1 second. I think that's Solomon. Let me grab something. Hold on.
Islam fam.
Islam Solomon, how you doing?
Okay.
Islam.
Islam, Empress, gratitude. So with that being said, nobles, let's do our Moorish American prayer as we have to be correct. So let's get into that. Someone can lead that if you don't mind. Empress, if you want to. Wait, well, I'm sorry.
Empress.
I always
Empress, if you would like to leave.
Absolutely. If you're in a position to lead, you're sure welcome to lead, Empress. If you can hear me. If not, we'll go ahead and get started if she's not available. All right.
Ali. Islam.
Islam.
Allah. Allah. Father of the universe. Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Aya Ashta Shalom Alakim. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Ya Haq, Ya Muhammad. Ashe, Islam, peace, 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 most.
Islam.
Peace.
Islam and peace, peace, peace. Gratitude for all my brothers that's here, all the nobles and my empresses that's here, that's live with us privately. I was asked to please do one more teaching live on YouTube, so I will do that for my brother that asked, one of my nobles I met. Actually, I've been knowing in Michigan, and he finally been hitting me up. And he was like, man, can you just do one more so I can share it with the people back home so they can see it? Because he just found me on YouTube. So I'm going to do that. And anybody want to log on YouTube as well, please do so. But I always do favors for people because that's what we're supposed to do. If that'll reach somebody and that'll touch somebody, then I'm going to do that because that's who I am.
Islam.
And so I was asked
Who you
to,
are, no?
absolutely. So I was asked to do one more live teaching on YouTube. And he was like, would you please go live on a Burning Bush page because he's just started following me. So I'm going to do that. I was, Brian, you can go, oh no, I'm going live, so you can't do it. You want me to cut off live, Brian, and you go live on the temple page, or how you want me to just leave it how it is, Brian?
I can go live.
Or you want me to, well, it really doesn't matter. I'm already started, so hell. I don't want to keep stopping. I don't want to prolong anyone on this divine message.
Islam.
So, nobles, first I'd like to give gratitude, and I'm not here for any debates. Myself and my muftis and my empresses, we all can agree on it that we're not here to debate.
First, I'd like to
And this is a school, and we're here to learn. And there's some things that we do that we like to keep, how can I say, sacred. But we do reach out to the public. And I'm not here for any debates. I'm not here for anyone religious belief system. That's not my mission. And to know my mission, I will hope you get to know who I am and follow who we are. And if you want to inquire the right way. Because we have a Temple and School webpage, which is bbtsciencetemple.com. So, first off, I like just to state a couple things that I like, far as what we like to call tradition. And when people say, well, this and that, and they don't know, well, it is some things that you can know. It is some things that we do keep sacred to us. Not secret, but sacred. So when we talk about Moors, and especially of us that call ourselves sheiks, that come from, of how can I say it, a particular structure. When I speak on this thing, I don't come from any ego. I come from being through the fire and being through academia and being a divine minister in real life and being a leader in real life, having a track record of doing things, being able to take everything that I talk about and make it applicable, which is what we call mathematics that can be used. We're going to proceed on that as I continue to teach. But these are the lessons that I want us to understand. And the only way to learn is to learn systematically. We can't cheat and we can't fake it till we make it. We must go back to what we know. And that's being scholars. And that's wearing this fez with nobility, not with anger or not with spite or not with a lack of understanding because your wisdom is not elevated to a certain degree. So, one part of structure I like to speak of is when the divine is always done first. When the divine is always done first, it will always check the lower self, which is the ego. Understand this, Moors. So when I ask more simple little things, Noble Mufti Alonzo, when I ask more of these simple matter-factuals, I always like to read our divine constitution and bylaws. because there's some things that we should hold dearly, and there's some traditional things that we should keep. And so when I speak on the structure, how the Moorish Science Temple was structured, how it was set up, it's no secret. We share that information here with the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School, so you can be clear of what you may be trying to get into before you get into it. And you can deal with a brother or a Moor or an educator or a leader that's going to give everything to you to make what? Sound reason, aka sound decisions. Those are adults. So when we get into our divine constitution, Moors, and our bylaws, we speak on Act 4. And this is the elementary wisdom. This stuff should check you. When a person saying they're operating under the Moorish Science Temple of America or under the teachings of Noble Drew Ali, anybody, any elementary student, any fact checker can go to the CCRD and get the state booklet, how the temple was set up, and say, okay, well, let's fact check and say, well, this doesn't make sense because in the state booklet. And you can also get all the information of how the temple is set up. Especially if somebody say for the record, you will say the 1010 number is some trust. And they say for the record, you'll say yeah. And they approve you wrong. They approve you as nothing but an affidavit. And Moors get mad. I'm like, we can't do that. And so Act 4, it says all members must preserve these holy and divine laws. So one, you must know what holy and divine laws consist of as being a Moor. I didn't say anything else because that's not my concern. We're dealing with a divine and nationality, divine. So the divine comes first. The divine must come first. And all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and partial of the government and must live the life accordingly. And I'm not here to debate with nobody when they always try to get you with these trick questions. And they try to say, what you mean, you part and partial? Well, you mean, I said, listen, man, I'm not here to play that game with no one, especially with no one that don't understand law and legal genre and all colors of law and all facets of law, and then not understand law, but understand the language and how the language changed depending on the different science of law. These are facts. These are facts, and that's nothing to dispute. Act 5, this organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. And then Moors will get, oh, what do you mean said? I said, come on, what do you mean what he mean if he said? We said we're not here to cause confusion or overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. See, this is not me. And then Moors try to say, well, what do you mean? What do you mean what do you mean? Well, how plain can it be? Act 6. With us, all Moorish Americans must proclaim their nationality. So you must proclaim. So when you look at proclaiming, that's something that you do yourself out of your mouth. You proclaim, then you declare, and then you have due process. It's in the laws. This is wrapped in constitutional laws. We teach this through the laws, and then we do things tribally. But you must understand the laws that govern this world. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and partial of this said government. And then you will get these more that say, well, what do you mean when he said government? You tell me what it means. Because if you confused, I'm not confused. And if you don't want to learn, then I'm not here to debate anyone. I'm not even going to give that the energy. I'm not going to give that the energy. And know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians. Because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now. And all men, all women now must proclaim their free national name, their free national name, their free national name, their free national name, their free national name to be recognized by the government, their free national name to be recognized by government, their free national name to be recognized by government in which they live, in which they live, in which they live, and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained our Prophet Noble Drew Ali to redeem his people from their sinful ways. I'm not here to debate anyone else. If they say, oh, you think Noble Drew Ali was a prophet? Yes, in the flesh. It's many prophets and angels in the flesh. I agree with my one-on-ones and my teachings in that structure. You believe in a mystery God. I don't. I'm not here to argue with nobody.
Islam.
The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwest and the southwest shores of Africa. Why would I argue with somebody that don't understand that? I'm okay with that. I can part ways with that understanding. I don't have to debate somebody and have some big discussion and waste my energy and my time. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. All uplifting acts, uplifting acts, not picking what you want. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled the name of Great Faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must support your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey the fathers and mothers and be industrious. And then Moors get it twisted when they say our prophet told us to be industrious. Well, you must break it down because you're dealing with a person that deal with language. He ain't say be no criminal. He didn't say squat in houses. Our prophet didn't say none of that. He said be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. Be a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their heart and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet Noble Drew Ali through the guidance of his father, God Allah. Islam family?
Islam.
Okay. Now we going somewhere. Yep, thanks for the donation. Yep, it is Cash App $KG Bay. If those have it on their heart to give a donation, gratitude. If not, gratitude for you being here on YouTube anyway. Gratitude. I'm a teacher. I'm a teach. But don't be afraid to be a part of something. Because when the floodgates close, you will miss it. And you have all opportunity to be a part of something. Islam family?
Islam.
Because I'm telling you, man, we going somewhere. So before we get into my main topic, when I always talking about the divine comes first, in Moorish science, we talk about the Ajana. That's going to be my main topic. But I'm gonna cap off where I was going yesterday when we was talking about that Mayat magic, but I'm gonna break it down to that creation energy. Because see, a lot of Moors don't talk about this. That's how you know they're mortal men. We talk about the things that take us to the higher levels and to the different planes. See, we dealing with the ethers. See, we're not dealing with all that mortal stuff. See, we can master that stuff when we operate in the higher plane. Why? Because man created that. And if man created that, Allah created man so we can master man and manipulate the ethers. That's why I tell people money is not earned, it's given. And a lot of people don't understand nothing I said. I ain't saying money just gonna fall out the sky. But what I'm saying, when you in line in the right atmosphere, when you doing what's right, those things can happen. Those things will happen. Why? Because you are vibrating. I'm telling you, I'm gonna show y'all. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna get all into the ethers inside. We're gonna be able to turn people inside out and show you that the power comes from within, and show you why a lot of these Moors don't have no power, because they don't even know what that spirit molecule is. When I talk about that DMT, see, people got to take all these other things and these byproducts, and I say it's something inside. I'm just speaking a different language, and what I'm speaking, when I speak in more science, when I'm speaking metaphysically, when I'm speaking as a Gnosis, I'm still speaking words that are synonyms, that meaning the same. You just missing the language. That's why you must be a student. Islam family, if somebody with me, y'all got to talk to me, man.
Islam.
You got to talk to me, man, because we're not mortal men. We're this is what we're supposed to be doing. All the rest of the stuff is trash for me.
Come on, teach now.
So the word physics is a Greek word meaning nature and has been used to refer to the scientific study of space, matter, and time. And in the field of science called physics, energy is defined as simply the ability to do work or the amount of work that can be done by a force. Now, what's a force? When they talk about a force of nature, you are a force of nature. Understand about yourself being connected to this atmosphere. So in the field of science called physics, Morse, a force is defined as anything that causes the change of position and hence suggests what? Movement. Once the field of science called physics, which is nature, in the area of what? Thermodynamics. Thermodynamics. Thermodynamics, which studies the movement and the transformation of energy. And can there be found any scientific laws that which is not assumed, but rather known and accepted as an undisputable fact? One of the laws of physics, nature, is called what? Conservation of energy. Write these phrases down, Morris. Please. Please. Because see, we dealing with people in the flesh, and I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with the flesh. That's not my mission. The conversation of energy and law of nature, which is physics, states that energy cannot be created in the sense that it comes from nowhere and nothing into existence. And energy cannot be destroyed in the sense that it ever ceases to exist, but rather energy can transform or change from one form to another, just like your higher self and your lower self. If you let Allah, how can I say, nurture your heart? Because the closest place to find Allah is in the heart. So if you're telling me Allah don't have to nurture your heart, you have no chance of mutation. You have no chance. You have no chance. Because we could have said, we say, well, the closest place to find Allah in the heart. So if Allah is not nurturing your heart, you have no chance. And energy has many forms. Say what, Noble?
Now I'm saying that's raising to a whole higher vibration.
It must, Noble. Your frequency must go up. The higher the frequency. Look, man, I love Kung Fu movies, man, and I'm a martial artist head. I told you I study Wing Chun, weapons and everything. And one of my favorite Kung Fu movies is, I think it was called The Great Cavalier. And then there was another one when the master, he was able to move his pressure point. And as he got higher and higher in wisdom, his voice got high pitch because he got real deep in his wisdom. And a lot of those Kung Fu movies be having deep symbology. And you must catch these things. But that energy has many forms, including potential energy, kinetic energy, atomic energy, heat energy, electromagnetic energy. What I'm saying, you could take a damn balloon, rub it on the ground, and won't it start sticking? I mean, and you telling me it's not energy? See, we talk about energy. We're talking about being electric in all manifestations. So chemical energy, gravitational energy, sound energy. When we talk about those megahertz and all phases of matter, everything in existence is made up of some form of energy. That's why I say a lot of Morse energy is off. When you see a lot of Morse have to take things outside of themselves. When I speak of these chemicals, see, when I speak of all these things that we can do to heal ourselves, like for instance, when we say this herb and that herb, and I get all that, but a lot of things you can take from eating a healthy balance, a meal, and eating a green meal, because a lot of food have natural water. A lot of these things is natural. When I say we operate on a kosher diet. See, I'm not going to say what somebody else did or this and that. I get that. But I tell you what I am, and I follow the teachings that works for me. I'm not here to tell nobody it's only one way. But with this science and law, it's only one way. And you can't arbitrarily explain that. Islam?
Islam. In foods, I'm saying it's the same, what it calls, mineral salts will be in different foods.
Absolutely.
It's normally most ingredients.
Cell salts, all that. And that's why I've taught this a plethora of times. Over and over. And that's why I teach over and over and over and over, because I don't have to change. This is not a gimmick. When a person think, oh, you can, when they think, oh, I can just take all this, what Sheik said, I can just eat this and do this and I'm cool. Well, you don't even see what Sheik do. Sheik do eat right. Sheik work out right. Sheik love right. Sheik do business right. Sheik do a lot of things in life. Sheik operate in life and take care of people in real life. So it's all those things. I didn't say it's one. I say it's meditation. It's all those things. And I didn't say pick one and roll with it.
And also too, when we think about food too, we always think about the consumption of the food, but we also partake in food that we bring into our own cycle. You know what I mean? Like what you partake in daily, it's a ritual of food for you. If it's certain kind of entertainment, if it's certain kind of indulgences, so really, and what you gravitate to is food for you. So it's not only in the physical sense, in the manifestation of on a plane of manifest, it's also in the mental plane where you are consuming things that are not healthy, that brings forth an unrighteous lifestyle. Islam?
Noble.
Spiritual diet.
Come on, Noble. Come on.
Spiritual diet. If I can add one more thing.
Go ahead, Noble. Absolutely, you can add.
Speaking about, it's coming from our teachers in our Holy Quran when it's speaking about being raised to a higher tone. It's in chapter 18.
Yep.
I think it's verse 36. And it says, in flesh of man, there is the essence of resurrection of the dead. This essence, quickened by the holy breath, will raise the substance of the body to a higher tone.
See?
That's that prana. That's that prana.
See?
That's that holy breath. That's that prana.
See? And when we talking about when Noble and when Mutaf Alonzo was speaking on, like it's the food that can pollute your brain. Your brain can atrophy from all the false information. It's just like putting all the wrong information in your computer. It can catch a virus. And then with the food, you need to get a flush and fill. You can be polluted. Same thing. And so power is scientifically defined as the rate or amount of time it takes for work to be done or energy to be converted. So in nature, in physics, follow me, radiation is scientifically defined as any process by which the energy emitted by one object travels through a medium and is eventually absorbed by another object. So in the field of science called physics, aka nature, Moors, a so-called black body is scientifically defined as an ideal object that does what? Absorbs all electromagnetic radiation. What we talk about, light energy that it receives. What I'm talking about, that's 666, that's 6 protons, that's 6 neutrons, that's 6 electrons. When somebody told you that the sun gonna give you cancer. Au contraire, move frere, any melanated person need at least 2 hours of that natural vitamin D. The electromagnetic, the radiation, that light energy that you receive, it goes like this. It goes like a cycle from you to there. I mean, come on, man. You can't tell me I'm not telling the truth. You can't tell me I'm not telling the truth. I'm connected to this earth. I know what I need. So, creation refers to the act or process of causing something new or novel or nova to exist or come into being. And as it follows from the discussion, when we talk about energy, Moors, since everything in existence is composed of energy, and energy can only change from one form to another. See, we talking about the flesh is nothing. This energy transform. And then the creation and creating, it does not mean bringing about something new in existence from nothing and nowhere, but rather transforming or changing the form of the thing. That creation of anything in any form is a gradual process, what like Noble Malik like to call growth and change over time, in which a metaphorical or literal seed, a nut, a kernel, or a knot, or even a tittle, or even a mustard seed grows and transform into another form, a figure, or a structure. A new creation is always the initiation or beginning of the thing and the termination or ending of another thing. Did y'all follow what I said? A new creation is always the initiation. That's just the initiation. The initiation. When you think you try, oh, I got to know, that's just the initiation or the beginning of one thing, and the termination or ending of another thing. So growth and decay are mathematical concepts which indicate the increase or decrease of a quantity, a magnitude, or a multitude over time, respectively. Please follow and stay in the context. We must save ourselves. So when we talk about that, creativity is the level or the degree of creative mental ability. And a creation always exists as a thought, as an idea or concept. That's why in the scriptures it says, in the beginning was a word, and the word was made what?
Flesh.
You dang right. That's where all creation starts. That's where all creation starts. A concept in the mind. So as we think about that, man, as we think about that energy, this energy comes from us. Amongst the Yoruba people in Nigeria, the African creation, the energy is called, when a lot of more say, Ashe, 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 which means the power to make things happen. So you got to know that, because words are spells, and the various forms of this creation energy is personified in the Yoruba, in the Orisha, in those deities, which I say a lot of Moors, a lot of so-called Sheiks are not connected to that. How can you not be connected to our Santeria, to our Orisha, to our Tasawuf, to this higher science? Then you can't be a medicine man. You can't be an Adab. There's no way. You a mortal being. Amongst the Akan people in Ghana, in the Twi or the Twi, the language, the creation energy is called Tumi. The web of energy and power that exists throughout space and all of the creation, which was woven. We talk about that web on your dollar bill, and designed by the Akan deity of wisdom, Anasi Kokurok, or Kokuroko, Anasi Kokuroko. And in the Congo, African creation energy is called the Kinga, which refers to the energy of the universe and the force of all existence and creation. And the thermodynamic process of the transformation of energy is depicted in the Congo, in the cosmogram called the Yowa or the Yawa. In ancient African Egypt, Nubia, the KMT, the Kush, the Tamara, etc. That creation energy was called Sekhem or Sekhem, Sekhem, which was an energy that individuals, that those that's connected, use to control the elements of nature. In Moorish science, we call that what? It's something we call it our Moorish science and our adapt wisdom, our wudu, to create anything desired. The European Manly P. Hall, they talk about it in the secret doctrines. If other European that wrote books, I'm saying this is the science. So why are you going to be disconnected from your science? Islam? So, as I indulge in our more science, when I say, it's so funny, man, because I've been through all spiritual houses. And a lot of times a person will Jesus you to death. And I say, that's not going to fix it. I'm sorry. Especially when we get to speaking a language and we get to doing historical things and things that can be proven. And we must do that work to free ourselves. And there's nothing spooky about nothing. A lot of things are parables, symbology, and analogies. A lot of things are connected from other teachings from other literature. And you must be able to cross-reference everything and then add all the books to connect the dots. And that's some work. So, and we're willing to do the work here. And so, go ahead. Somebody want to say something?
Yeah, one thing I was going to say, just to add into everything you've been talking about, the teaching was awesome, by the way. I heard the Noble C. Freeman L. make reference of this, but I actually seen it myself, talking about the Sufi masters, how they would lock arms and chant for hours, which turns into days and nights on out without food, water, sex, or anything that we think that we need in this physical realm. And they don't need it after all that time, and it just shows the amount of energy that we're provided by via spirit. And it's not everything that we see that we think we absolutely need all the time. And the Noble was talking about the diet, and it's about the very thing that you think in your mind, oh, I have to have this to live. You really, it's all mental. The universe is mental, and you see the proof of that when you see a lot of the Sufi masters. Like you said, they go in and out, days on out, without the very nourishment that we claim we need every day. Mm-hmm. Like they're defying physicality. Mm-hmm. If you think about it,
you reserve energy, Noble. It's like when I speak on the fasting Buddha and the Gautama Buddha, and you have these different facets of how you store energy. When I talk about the DMT, when you start connecting yourself to certain things, like for instance, a lot of time when with our great ancestor C. Freeman L, when he's speaking on those things, remember, a day is like 1,000 years per se, and a lot of times we speak in parables. So when they speak, you would be doing it for so long. Like for instance, you can play basketball for 2 hours straight. So imagine brothers in a setting, and we're in a position of chanting. We're in a position, we saying Allahu Akbar, or whatever we chant, we're chanting, and we're there, we're doing that for say 35 minutes, 45 minutes to an hour, and we haven't got nothing. That's going to seem like an entire time, which it is. So a lot of times we think in those manifestations. Now, do we astral plane? Absolutely. Do we do these physical things? Absolutely. Absolutely. But we can't make them literal as well to show you the connection. Because if you can start a little bit, then you gradually expand. So all these things is what a Noble you all talk about. Absolutely. These are things you must practice repetitiously. And that's where I'm glad you said that, because that's what a lot of Moors are disconnected from. I promise you, they're disconnected from that aspect. A lot of Moors are not medicine men. A lot of Moors are not Tasawwufs. A lot of Moors are not connected into the Santeria, into the Orisha. They're not connected into all those different manifestations. That's if you will adapt, you will be trained in those things. If you a healer, you should be able to read the tarot cards. And I'm not saying all adapts have that skill, but that's something that I was brought up in my household as a babe. So for myself, that's the type of sheik you're going to get. You know, when I do healing, when I do touches, and when I bring out certain things, and when I bring out my talisman bag, a lot of things I don't brag about, but I definitely do it. It's certain things that I must do, and it's not just the stuff you see on the internet, you know. So when we get into that Ajana Moors, we get into that third eye chakra. See, we're not going to twist nothing and make things perverted and try to not tell people where they be getting that twisted science from Alex Crowley and Pascal Beverly Randolph and trying to twist our science. We know better than that, y'all. Because I'll show y'all where the science come from. They can't twist nothing on us. Islam. And try to say this is more science. No, they can't. Y'all got the books. If y'all need them, I'll break it down and I'll teach it to you. And show you how the European always try to destroy you and trick you. No disrespect to nobody. And your own brother. Because they'll bow down for that. So that Ajana, or that third eye chakra, which is located between the brows in the inward center of the forehead. Moors, Ajana means command, boundless perception, infinite wisdom. Like Adam Blavatsky talk about that infinite wisdom. Where you think she got it from? I'll show you. All the Sufis, they'll tell you, they give all the science back to who? Noble Ali. That's why I would never argue with a European. Peter Moon done lectures on our prophet. You know? I hope y'all know who Peter Moon is. Sacred Gift.
Black Sun.
Yeah, Sacred Gift by Peter Lambert Wilson. Another European named Spencer Dew. He wrote a book called The Aliyhites, and he know me. It's just a lot that I deal with when I say this more science is real. We the only ones that's just lost with it. But it's the knowledge of that infinite wisdom through knowledge of the God self, that universal authority, and through the Ajana. One is moved beyond the world of dualities. Here we go. We're talking about that dualities into the peacefulness of neutrality of the cosmos, beyond the pearl of the blue ether plains. So physically, Moors, the third eye is associated with the pituitary gland, eyes and brain, because there is the soul sitting right there in the so-called mercy seat. And although the Ajana radiates from the element, which is light, its colors are purple and indigo. So in our Exhumed of the Nation, when we speak of this science, we speak on the third eye. And so we speak on the pure heart and the mind. So let us teach. We don't have to go all over the place. I want us to stay somewhere and go somewhere. But there is one way for man and for woman to be produced. There are 1,000 by which he or she may be destroyed. That's in our Morse Quran, 44:7. There is but one true way for man, for woman to see himself or herself. The truth. All his or her other observances are subject to change and pass with time, family. And what is commonly called the third eye, was created with every physical man and he or she was formed in the flesh with that ability, with that power. And since the third eye is as much as part of his or hers own nation, which is the head, the limbs, the organs, every member born with a navel into the human family. We have this. You have it. When a person say, what is a Muslim and where Europeans come from, don't play that game. We talk about the heart of Allah. They come from the same place you came from your 9 months. 9 months. Real talk. They ain't coming from nowhere else. So we're not going to put Allah in a box and try to say the great God is so selfish that that ability or that manifestation is only going to make one melanated being. That don't even make sense. And the great God of Allah, that manifestation made the polar bear and the black bear. Aren't they both bears still? Somebody correct me if I'm tripping. Huh? Is the polar bear and the black bear both bears? Yes or no?
Islam.
Okay.
Islam.
And both of those are Allah's creation, right?
Islam.
Ain't no devil make the polar bear, did it? And then no God so-called made no black bear, did it? Did it?
Islam.
You see? So what are we doing here? What are we doing here, Morris? Somebody wanted to say something, Nobles?
Islam. When we talk about the Ajana, when we talk about the third eye, when you looking for a scripture, when you want to reference this for the scripture, if you go to Matthew,
come on, Noble, 6th chapter.
Matthew 6th chapter, 22.
Go ahead.
22, quick.
Go ahead.
It says, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. This is telling you, if thy eye be single, this is talking about the eye. The light of the body is the eye. We're talking about the Ajana. We're talking about that. It's going right to the core of this. But this is the whole scriptures. Usually when you hear this, you're talking about no man serves two masters. So if I read another, verse after the 22nd verse, the 23rd, it also talks about, but if thy eye be evil, it says thy whole body shall be full of darkness.
See?
If therefore the light that is indeed be darkness, how great is that darkness? No man can serve two masters. You know what I'm saying? For he was in hate one and loved the other. So that's that whole thing. But it's going and starting from the light of the body is the eye. If therefore that eye be single, the whole body shall be full of light. So therefore, that third eye, the Ajana, is wherefore that light now enters in. And we begin now to dwell on a different plane.
Islam, Noble. See? Islam. And what is commonly called the third eye was created with every physical man and woman as she was formed. We got to know that. That's why we talk about that holy breath. If one was born with a head and had the holy breath of life blown into his nostrils, what the biblical scripture says, with that mystery stuff. And see, when you break it down, blew into the nostrils, that's the spirit and the soul. That's an analogy. You possess the third eye. This mono eye, located above the senses and centered behind the two eyebrows, can only be seen inward. A lot of different nationalities and cultures, they place a dot on it. The Indians and the Hindus per se. But see, we don't have. I told you, everybody that dress up like you, they always going to have to symbolize who they are because it's not within. I'm telling you what I know, and I'm not disrespecting no one. This stuff is within, and you should be able to conjure that stuff within. And your presence, your aura, when you walk past, when you go, they know. It's inward, and it's necessary. Why? For perception into the boundless heart of man. Man's ignorance, woman's ignorance of this gifted part of themselves. It caused him, it caused her to become subservient to the outward five senses. Those five senses. This is known as the final fall of man, the final fall of woman. And due to this fall, she has stumbled blindly into every evil and earthbound noun and pronoun since the Garden of Eden. And so this is the stuff we must know. We're talking metaphysically. And so the human eye, it is professionally known fact that the human eyes do not actually see objects. Here we go. We're getting ready to teach now. So instead, they process light waves from objects that either absorb or do what? Reflect. The eyes measure about 1 inch in diameter, but can be trained to capture stars from far enough away for a powerful telescope to barely find. When I spoke about the Dogon, those Moorish people of West Africa, single strain of sand. When I show Moors, when I do meditation, they say, what do you meditate on? I say, get a strain of sand and put it right there and meditate on that. What do you mean? I said, the spirit's going to take you there. If you're not, you got to keep going, because I can't tell you. How can I say I'm a healer and I have to give you the keys for you can? That's what healers do. I don't heal you. I heal you. I hope you understand what I said.
It's long.
And still, with the absence of the 7 colors, from the one light, the eyes of the flesh can see nothing and otherwise be worthless. In our Moorish Quran and even in our prophet, what did he teach us and what do we know? All things that can be seen by the human eyes are manifest of aught, are not, and so must pass away. Moorish Quran 7 and 8. The things they see are just reflexes, appearing fast to slow, or thus. And so, these reflexes change as their conditions change. So they do not always appear the same. Quran chapter 1. And most of the things seen by the human eyes must feed from the rate of atmosphere and are caught up in conflicts of survival and the reflex duration called what? Time, which keeps them subject to what? Change. We almost there. So the masters of the Golden Temple of Tibet, when speaking of the eyes, it said, and I quote, family, the eyes, the sentinels that watch for thee, yet how often are they able to distinguish truth from error? That's in your Moorish Quran, chapter 27, verses 8, family. This verifies the fact, Moors, that most things change, even as the eyes watch. And today, family, man plays one-eye games. But when she closes one of his 2 eyes, he is either peeping to covet something not his own or winking at some form of wrongdoing. Stay in the context. It's said the eye leads to the heart of man The eye leads to the heart of woman. This is true. The heart of man, the heart of woman, is not the pumping filter of the flesh found in the chest cavity. Stay with me, family. That's the heart of the human body and has no power to think or reason. Man, woman, himself, herself is not confined to the body, but is the owner. Walk with me, man.
Come on, man.
See, the heart of man, the heart of woman is in his head, is in her head, and he and she must use the power of thought to journey, to navigate. Although the essence of man, although the essence of woman is spirit, it is thought that is his, that's her only source of travel. That's in your Moore's Quran chapter 7, verse 25 to 31. You can't say I'm making something up. You can't say I'm making something up. The center of man's and woman's growth and development is rooted in the head when we speak on the essence of Adam and Eve coming from our exhuming of the nation. That's why all thought activity and physical movements, it travel centrally from this center. And the very word man means thinker. Why? Because when we deal with the church, when we deal with our C. Freeman L chart, I don't want to pull it out right now. That's another teaching, because we know man is master, able, and noble. We know God is the generator, the operator, the destroyer. We still talking about ourselves and God, what, operating as one, the Cove, the Volta. We know what we're coming about, what we're talking about. This is nothing spooky. We're dealing with more science. We're dealing with man made in the image of Allah.
Islam.
And that's why prophets, sages, saints, and masters and of Africa, Akibalan, of Mexima, of India, and the Oriented, they specialize in the science of what? Meditation. When I just spoke on the fasting Buddha. Some yogis of India, they mark their entrance of their third eye on their forehead. They mark their entrance to the third eye on their forehead. They mark the entrance to the third eye on their forehead with a red kumkum, a red kumkum, K-U-M, K-U-M, called a bimdi, B-I-M-D-I. And this symbolizes their knowledge of the inward spiritual journey. And the golden cord of meditation, the golden cord, which you see the Buddhas, it binds all the lies of Moses, Abraham, Buddha, Yeshua, Muhammad, and all the masterminds. Whether they went to a mountaintop, a cave, a desert, wilderness, or other sacred places of solitude. Solitude. They each detach self away from humanity to meditate in order to become one with the great God within. And they each always return in a state of what? Bliss. In a state of what? Bliss. In a state of blissness. I am that I am. When we speak, when we say Aya Asha Aya, I will be what I will to be. When we speak on our teachings and our IDMR teachings. When I say we must have a background, and as a teacher, as a guide, as a map, I must be able to teach all the Gnostic scriptures. I must be able to synchronize to show you it's all our science. And my Father are one, and God is in me, and I am in God, and in my Father's house are many mansions. And what I have done, all men must do, and do, and greater still. What I have done, all men, all women must do, and greater still. So when you say greater still, that's action, not still to be still, but to do greater still. These and all true leaders of men. Go ahead, somebody want to say something?
I was saying still as in to continue.
Yes, sir. Come on, man, we got to know how to read. We know how to read.
Oh.
These and all true leaders of men not only possessed, follow me, these and all true leaders of men, all true leaders of women, not only possess the third eye, but also have the wisdom to use it. When we talk about prayer and meditation, because as a divine sheik, as a tasawwuf, as a shaman, as a medicine man, I can pray and meditate all day and get into my Sufiness and go into a trance state and do it in a manifestation, which we do for hours. We sweat for so long. This is what we do. It's a lifestyle. It don't have to be broadcast to the world. But you know it's true because when you see the vibrations, when you see how they operate, you know the energy is connected to some poles, 2 poles to be exact. And these God men warned, none but the pure in heart shall see the great God, and to keep your heart and mind pure with love. That's Acts 7. That's why shallow men to their callow brothers nearly always veiled the subject of the infamous third eye in mystery and secrecy. That's how these brothers and these religious camps can twist it and come up with some sick stuff and twist the chakra chart and come up with that perverted sick stuff. But we know where they're getting that stuff from. That's why no weapon formed against us would prosper. We didn't say a weapon wouldn't form, but it won't prosper. The weapon is your own brother lying. But it's not going to prosper because you got those godmen in the flesh that's protecting the valor under these auspices. And you know, they try to lie to you. We almost there. It's sacred human knowledge of the subjects. They try to use it as powers beyond their beings or too magnanimous for the lower mortals to comprehend. But it destroys them because they have no balance. Look at them. Especially when you talk about the matriarch, where you say, look at our prophet, he has fallen humanity in his hands. See, I'm not going to accept no BS from no male or no female, but I know where the woman is my the garden that produced food and life, and I don't want to be nowhere without my empresses. There's no way. There's no way. I understand that. But we must heal. Because we are gods together. It takes us both. We can't build no nation with no male or with no female. It takes 2 for that immaculate conception. It takes 2.
It's one.
So we got to get rid of the mystery, y'all. Because mysteries are but mere reflexes of the known flash before the ignorant and the ill-informed. See, we teaching today, man. We must teach. This is the time. We always talk about the Aquarian times. Well, this is the teachings. We got to lay this here and let the mortal man deal with that mortal stuff. The mortal man stuff. We deal with this saving power and this frequency and this energy. Nothing secret. Signs and symbols are for men and women of understanding. We use them to chart our course to perfection. That's why, nobles, have you ever wondered why a light bulb, family, why it symbolizes the conception of an idea, or why a realization is spoken of as seeing the light? Why wisdom is depicted by the semblance of a glow or a halo? When someone uses his or her God powers to create, why is the perception of it referred to as a bright idea? And so you have to notice, Moors, how those with minds of wisdom have been enlightened. E-N-L-I-G-H-T, E-N, E-Deed. I said E-Deed. But even those like the so-called Moses at what? The burning bush, who have witnessed God's grace. We given a story. It speak of the glow or the brightness that's dazzling in the human life. There are daily references to the third eye, although mostly unnoticed. When we talk about the all-seeing eye, the star of the east, the day star, the psychic, the bindi, the Sanskrit, the eye of the inner vision, the spiritual perception, the center or the focal point, the apex, the epitome or pyramid, the mind over matter. Those are to identify a few. And the most one in this so-called Western hemisphere is the all-seeing eye Moors of God above the African pyramid on the rear seal of the United States government when I speak about Illuminati, because I'm the enlightened one. I'm not saying I'm better than no one, but I'm telling you, this is enlightenment, and there's nothing to be afraid of. It's displayed all over your dollar bill. When I turn it upside down, I show you the 7, the cornerstone that was rejected. It's now what? Come on. It's on a dollar bill. It's on all government buildings and publicized in U.S. properties. The origins, however, is 10,000 years older. It was the banner of the first African civilization. And that capstone with the third eye attached to the base of that pyramid. Look at it. It should be remembered many of the great pyramids of Africa, Kebalan, Mexima, whatever you want to call it, were built and is in use by the time the Europeans, no disrespect, the Treladites, whatever you want to call them, Albians, I don't care. I just use their vernacular of Europe began crawling out of the caves. They said they came out of caves, not me. I ain't say I was no caveman. I ain't say I grew up with no dinosaurs. I ain't say that. You said that. You can have that shit. Excuse my candor. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to argue with nobody. I'm not. It's a waste of time. So, because we almost done, because I said that we must teach sometimes. A lot of people play games with us. We call it the pretended wise. And they be doing dramas on Moors, like in movies. Our Prophet Noble Drew Ali described this type of leadership in the following manner. And I quote, "The man who stands upon the corners of the paths and points the way, but does not go, is just a pointer. And a block of wood can do the same. The teacher treads the way. On every span of ground, she leaves his or her footprints clearly cut, which all men, which all women, which all children can see, and be assured that she, their master, went that way." That's in your Moorish Quran, chapter 4, 15 and 16. These spiritual leaders, having never consciously gone to the spirit, probably mean well, but if you are not looking inward, you are simply on the right track, heading in the right direction. Y'all following me? We saving somebody today.
Wait. No, you gotta say that again.
Well,
that again.
When we said we having our,
No.
we're
You said you're on the right track.
yeah, headed in the wrong direction.
But headed in the wrong direction.
Yes. And we use the analogy sometimes talking about being sincerely wrong. You can be sincerely wrong, but you must correct it. I'm down with that. I'm always down with that. Like a person can lead you to a burning house, especially if you're excited, especially if you think this is liberation and then you find it not to be right. You were headed on the right track, but the wrong direction. You need to change courses immediately, as they like to say. So as we close up, man, other symbols of the third eye is the power of the one eye has been portrayed as aliens and Cyclops. I'm gonna show you all this. Cyclops are supposed to be the original Adam with no navel, 20 feet tall with one eye, and live for 1,000 years. Yet portraits are reflections of man's outer vision. And there are numerous other symbols of adornments worn by humans to show awareness of the third eye. Jewelry centered on the turbans, tattoos, moles, ETCs. All this stuff is alike. It symbolizes the third eye. But the purpose of the third eye is for man and woman to see the self, the great God. In reality, these two, as truth, are one. Yahshua said to Lammas, a Brahmic priest of India's Jarnatic, there is a power in the eye. I'm just going on what our noble Mufti Alonzo Bey was just speaking on, but that's in our Moorish Quran 7 and 17. I show y'all our Moorish Quran is going to agree. Our Moorish Quran is not going to cuss nothing out. I keep telling y'all, how can you say that and the Silent Brotherhood of the East talk about Jesus, Yahshua going through the adapt chamber? It don't make sense.
No.
Yes, sir.
Can I say
Absolutely, you can.
No. I think it's so profound that we really highlight the fact that the third eye, as you just so eloquently just spoke about, is to see within. It's not to see the physical. It's not to see the outside world like your two eyes.
Oh, no.
That's so you have to get that, because we've been thinking about even just obtaining knowledge and just being so wise and doing these so-called exploits and trying to really accomplish things out here on the plane of things made manifest, showing people what we got. But it's really the eye, the things that we really need to tap into is what we're going to see is what is within.
Yep.
That's what that third eye is about. Inner sight.
See, Noble. See, when people be thinking to be some power, people be getting caught up with just social media, and no disrespect to nobody, religion or nothing, and they think success is just you getting a car. And I'm like, but that's not success. All the things that's not success, because as the great God bless you with monetary things and tangible things, then the mission doesn't change. You're able to do the mission while you enjoying your fruits of your labor. Because if you've done it justfully, there's nothing wrong with having something for yourself as you're doing your mission. There's nothing wrong with that. You see? But the mission must be accomplished. If not, you wasting your time. And so that's why we say these truths, man. It's within. And the breath is a force and is recognized as divine love. And without this power of love, divine, no one can use the eye to see the truth within God. And what is truth, Moors? The answer is, truth is the great God. It is the only thing that does not change. What is love? Love is the spirit of the great God. Love is wisdom, light, force, life, and will, divine activity. And only the pure in heart can see truth. This is why the third eye is Moors, as opposed to secret. One's thought must be exalted. Here we go again, just like Noble Brian was saying, exalted, raised up above the inharmonious, the karmic, the reaping, and the worlds of time and dualities. When you see these men just talking about things and people, they caught up. This is the main reason why the mental manumissions of the African slaves, the true knowledge of themselves and their free national name, is the most well-kept European secret. It's impossible, Moors, to enslave any man, any woman who is conscious of the great God and his or her power to the God self and the third eye awareness that activates these powers. And so the third eye is the only gateway, Moors, leading to the heart of man. And through the heart of man is the straight pathway to Allah. That's in your Moors Quran, chapter 7, verse 20, chapter 7, verse 27. And so I'll stop right there, Moors, and I'll open up the floor. Any questions, man?
Gratitude for the teaching, Noble. This is definitely one I'm going to have to back and listen to.
Gratitude.
There's so many gems in this. So many gems. Thank you.
Gratitude.
Yeah, we can, but look, y'all, we can connect this when I show y'all. We must study and read. We can cross-reference this. You go on your Moorish Quran, chapter 7, verse 27 or 31. Then you can go in your biblical scriptures, Matthew 6 and 22. If therefore thine eye be single, I know what it's talking about, thy whole body shall be full of light. You hear what the teachings say in the Bible? Listen to what the Bible says eloquently. If therefore thy eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. That's Matthew 6 and 22. I'm not making this stuff up, am I, y'all?
Islam.
It speaks to say the light of the body is the eye. Therefore, when thy eye is single, thy whole body is full of light. But when thy eye is what? Closed. When the eye is closed, that evil, reverse of live, that evil, thy body is full of what? Darkness. Take heed, therefore, thy light, which is in heed, be not darkness. Luke 11, 34 and 35. Come on, man. Both Matthew and Luke were disciples of Yeshua. The Christ gave them these lessons of the third eye, which he himself, if we're going to talk about the story, had his open while in India for nearly 18 missing years. If you are Moor, all you can say is Islam. If not, you're not reading your Moor's Quran. Because where it talk about these teachings, the teachings I'm talking about is the 18 missing years. So you cannot, this, what I'm saying, if you call yourself a sheep. Because I just summed it all up. Man's third eye is God's, is Allah's latchkey, left, built in to his spirit children of thought. Topside what? This mundane earth, this planet mud. This key is the only sure entrance back home to our God. But first, man must know thyself. And this was all that the so-called Atom and the so-called Eve used before they wanted to see their physical eye, which showed their nakedness. I'm just illuminating the so-called story. Man, woman lost in the wilderness of ignorance has only two things he or she needs to do: to know thyself and thy creator. Nothing else surpasseth this. And this is the highest degree of thinking. Why? Because it's in your Moorish Quran, chapter 38, verse 28. I'm speaking of text. If man truly knows, he or she must be what she knows. Man cannot be himself unless he knows himself, that he and God are one. Man, are y'all feeling me?
Islam.
Anybody got anything? Talk to me, because all we do, I mean, we can do this. The 7 ethereal planes of protoplasm: earth, plant, beast, man, angel, cherubim. It encompasses the 7 days of the creation when we talking about religion. And then we could talk about the 7 seals of the human body, because the third eye is one of them. There are 7 seals within the human body, known as the Christ, the prophets, the Mathmas, the Adapts, and other masters of the 7 chakras. Remember that 7 is the number of divine creation. The 7 chakras are created within every living man, woman, without the external legs and arms, even if you're born without it. It's located in the mind. It's through the base of the spine. When you see in the medical field on those medical trucks, you see that snake going up that chalice. Come on, man, I'll show you in the bathroom. It's right in the chest. They are astral nerve centers, which corresponds with the 5 elements: the earth, the air, the water, the fire, the ether. When I talk about that fear, we can agree to that. What? That fire, that earth, that air, the river. You take that away, we going. The 6th chakra, called what? Ajana, or the Ajana, or the Sanskrit, is the third eye. The glorious Ajana is the pure, powerful passageway of righteousness, prayed for by every Arabic speaking Muslim when reciting the Holy Al-Farith. When we talk about prayer, it shows us the straight way. The 7th, the way of those on whom thou hast bestowed the grace, those whose portion is not wrath, which is saved, and whose prophets go not astray. That's in the surah, in the Quran, chapter 1, 6, and 7, when we talk about prayer and meditation. Any questions, man? Because see, we can go on all day. We can stop. I'm telling y'all, man, when a man's body is formed, it is then centered with life from within the brain. That's the 7th chakra. That's the 7th chakra. The God spirit, that's 7th chakra. And a soul to think with the 6th chakra. Make us what? A living thing. With the creative 7, our vibrations of love, immutable truth, and bliss, unknown by men, bound by human knowledge. Hindus and our Prophet Noble Drew Ali and myself call the astral body a beautiful body, Moors. And so we're done, man. I digress. I got to rest, man. I've been going all day, and I love it, correcting teachings, because it's a beautiful day. And that's why Moors are messed up. Hail to the matriarch, man. We don't play that. That's why a lot of Moors are messed up, because they don't have no love. Ain't no way I want to be no grown man talk about I don't need no empress. You got to be crazy. Ain't no way in hell I want to be some grown man mad all day.
Real, man.
So this Moorish science is for the family. I love everyone. with that being said, man, that's a wrap. We was gonna work out today, man, but I'm pooped, Nobles. I need a rest. I've been going hard, and like I said, our business meeting, I'm gonna talk about some other endeavors that I've been doing, man. Like I got this pallet. I'll be getting these little. I got the trailer. I'll be picking up pallets, man. I got a good deal from these box stores. They let me get them for sometimes nothing, and I got a local distributor where I'm able to hook him up for $1 or $2. Man, it's amazing, man. That's why I say there's all type of ways to get money. When you see things, when your Ajana is open, and you a businessman, and you just present yourself in a manner. I'm solo out here. I have my interests and my sister that do a lot of things, but when I be out in the world, I get up at about 5 in the morning, and I do a lot of things. And now I done jumped into this endeavor, and man, it's crazy. You get 300 crates, man. You can sell them for $2 a piece. You tell me, hey, it's only time for me. So, with that being said, man, I love y'all, man. Any questions before we leave?
I ain't really got a question, but I just want to say Islam gratitude for the continuation, you know what I'm saying, for all of the work seen and unseen, man, just for, providing that refreshing energy, you know what I'm saying, just, man, just gratitude for the house, gratitude for the nobles, gratitude for it all, just gratitude to you.
Man, and sometimes that's all that need to be said, Noble, is gratitude, and that be from the heart. And gratitude to my nobles, man, and trusting me and allowing me to guide and just show us what we can do as a body, and not to operate on any belief system, but to challenge each other and to challenge us as Moors to study something and be a part of something that's big. And we can take this movement anywhere we want. Hey, Empress just walked in, so we got some work to do. Yeah, it fell down. So gratitude, nobles. Islam. We do our Moorish American prayer. Brother Alonzo, would you like to do our benediction after it's over, if you don't mind?
Islam.
Well, and we'll do our Moorish American prayer. And it's Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Shalom Alakim, Aya Asha Aya, peace, 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 Hotep, Amen. Whatever name that you give that inner being praises, it's all good. Allah has 99 beautiful names. No matter if you speak in Arabic, English, it's all good with me. Islam.
Islam. May the benison of Allah be upon thee and thine always, as thou shouldst strive to be a credit to Allah. Make haste to bestow thine acts of love upon thy brethren, and do the best to shun thine evil ones. Remember to take succor of the breast of knowledge, wisdom, fortitude, charity, love, and all standing, that you might nourish the souls of men. Let truth be the shield in the manifest battle of falsehood. Know that Moors need not to pick the locks to the gates of paradise by means of petty or criminal theft, for behold, the key to salvation already rests within thine own hands. And yes, even though a portion of our nature is weakness, instability, and inconsistency, there is still the greater part of our nature that is divine. May Allah protect thee, guide thee, preserve thee, lengthen thy age, and give thee everlasting peace. Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Ya Haq, Ya Muhammed. Islam, Ashe. Peace, 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 peace.
Peace, 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 family. Love y'all, man. Peace.
Peace. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Recording stopped.